Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 389, and today we're doing battle with Samira Draven Out of the Way. And so, Out of the Way, one of the cards updated in the 4.5 patch in the buff nerf revision cycle to all of the Eternal cards. Out of the Way got a point of cost taken away from it. It used to cost 5 mana and now it costs 4. And so, if you're not familiar with the card from back at the KDA release, it says for the rest of the game, allied buffs except for barrier are permanent, and then you get to draw one card. And so it has that specific line in there to say that barrier isn't permanent. You don't really want to make your units immortal or unkillable for the remainder of the game, and so they took that directly away from the card. But what if that immortality, what if that unkillableness was able to stick around and survive for the remainder of the game? How powerful would those units be? And it turns out you're able to do that kind of play now. And so with the printing of Divine Judgment out of the, was it in Glory for Navori or was it in the World Walker? I don't entirely remember, but Divine Judgment does give an ally that it can't take damage or die, and then you give the remainder of your allies +1 attack for the round. And so if we do manage to play our Out of the Way, that unit is now just unkillable for the rest of the game. Very, very powerful ability. A little less powerful way to pull off the same thing is going to be with Survival Skills, and so Survival Skills says that your allies can't drop below 1 health, or if you discard it, then your highest attack unit can't fall below 1 health. Same kind of deal if we're talking about combat damage or burn spells. That unit is no longer killable. It can be removed from things like Vengeance, or you can return it back to hand, but this is another way to kind of grant that immortality to our units. And so that is the kind of big and key idea behind the deck, is we want to play Out of the Way, then we want to make one of our units unkillable, but there are other amazing combos that can come about the cards in our deck. And so Samira does get permanent challenger if you've played Out of the Way. Draven is the real kind of key and core to the deck. He does a little bit of everything in this thing, as to where if you put a spinning axe onto Draven, it just sticks forever. And so as you're getting into the combat, getting the strikes, it makes Draven very easy to flip. The discard from the spinning axe can be used to give the survival skills to your highest attack powered unit. And then we also have some other kind of combos out here, like the Solari Sunforger giving himself permanent lifesteal, and then the Rune Squire generating the Reforges, which could let us give a unit +2 attack, quick attack, or overwhelm for the remainder of the game. Speaking of overwhelm, we are playing 2 copies of Might. The kind of real crux, the real problem to this style of deck is you need to actually come out and end the game. So if you want to imagine, we've got our Draven on board, we've played Divine Judgment on him, that gives him up to 4 attack. Let's say he's flipped, he's up to 5. We discarded 5 spinning axes on him because that's just the kind of thing that we like to do. He's up to 10 attack, but he just gets blocked by a 1/1. And so we need the way to either elusive, overwhelm, or rally. The overwhelm version of those things can come from Might, can also minorly come from the Rune Squire, but this deck does have a lot of potential to generate the rallies with Samira. And so if we are on this Draven path and Draven plan as to where we're generating lots of spinning axes is free, and so we can potentially discard a lot of those spinning axes to come in and level up our Samira. A lot of very nice and interesting interactions, abilities, and combos spread across all of the cards in the deck. The last couple of things to talk about is there's a handful of interactivity in what we're playing with today. The 3 copies of Ravenous Flock to ideally remove some opposing units. We have Arachnoid Sentries and Pirouettes to potentially stun the opposing unit, so we can then Ravenous Flock it away. And then a couple of copies of Brutal Skirmish is a way to fight down an opposing unit. So if we have a Survival Skills or a Divine Judgment deployed, our unit is not going to die during the fights, and then the Brutal Skirmishes give us a little bit more power there. Also, quite useful card in the current meta with all of the concurrent timelines running around, being able to spike away your opponent's your opponent's equipment from an improvised unit. Very relevant, very powerful in the current days. And so that's the deck. That's what we're doing battle with today. Let's go ahead and jump on in, running through the Iron Queue. I can't wait to get into these games. And so we're coming in on our secondary account. It's time to get this one up to Masters. I don't think we're going to be running around into too many players that aren't actually strong. in leveling up our main accounts, I still get, like, even up in Masters, I think I'm around like rank 50 in Masters right now, still get paired against a lot of, say, Platinum and Diamond players, and so I think it'll quickly land into the space of playing against very competent opponents. But very good start. We managed to find our namesake card, and out of the way, not so super excited about dropping the second copy, but having the singular copy of our main card is quite good. Opponent's playing Norra Caitlyn, and so I feel like we can probably run Samira out early and not have her die. The only card you'd have to really be watching out for here is going to be Mystic Shot. I suspect most of these Bandle City decks are going to be playing the Bandle City removals, and opponent says, LOL bust, I gotcha. I got the Mystic Shot right here for you. But that's okay. We have the second Samira in hand ready to party. We could have looked to just add the Rune Squire, but I think Samira actually has a lot of very good attacks there, and she also has the potential to shut down Norras. So there's a lot of reason on that turn to actually just play Samira and not attack, to try and keep our opponent limited from dropping Norra and getting those elusive attacks in. But nonetheless, our namesake card has been dropped. All of our units will keep their buffs for the remainder of the game. So if we give Samira Challenger, that will stick around forever. If we give her +1/+1 from the Pale Cascade, those stats will stick around forever as well. And so we have a couple of options for the round. If we want to go ahead and drop in our other Samira, or if we want to move towards the Squire and the Youngling. And I think we just want to kind of build up some board at the moment. As it stands, we don't have a Draven, and we can't discard the survival skills, and so I'm okay to just get these two units on board and just pass it back and be done with the turn. So we picked up the least exciting of the fragments and the +2 attack. It's okay. I think as long as this game gets to drag on, we're going to be just fine. Opponent's not playing Teemo, right? Opponent's playing Caitlyn, and so it's not nearly as scary in terms of their real late game punch. All right, opponents playing the timelines. I don't think we should be too surprised to see that, but did come in just in time for Risu. All right, well, this Samira with the Divine Judgment is going to have to be ready to do a little bit of work. A little bit of work is what we're going to need to see out of you. How do we feel about these? Do we just have to get a unit on board? It's like the Samira is not a particularly compelling unit on this board. We could play her and then just throw her in front of the Storm Cloud, but I don't think I'm really excited about that. Like, how do we ever win the game if that's the plan that we're going to be taking here? So I'm not super intent on that. I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking of just like dropping the survival skills, and then on the next turn we can look to Ravenous Flock away the Storm Cloud, but we are about to just get domed for 10 damage here. Not super ideal. Oh shit, and they just don't attack? Okay. That was pretty kind, pretty nice of the opponent. And so how do we want to go forward here? I think we still need to get this Samira on the board. I mean, it's a little tough for her in the sense that we really want to get this Divine Judgment going onto the Samira, but it's just so expensive to try and pull that off. So as it stands, I think I'm going to drop the Samira and then just not attack. We'll give the opponent a chance to come down and spend some of their mana, see if she can't come in and survive the round. Man, it's so good. We can't do that. Let's be real. Let's go ahead, give our Samira Challenger. Let's give her the +2 attack. These bonuses will be permanent now, and then I'm leaning towards sending her into the Voltician. I don't think opponent will have an expensive spell, but Caitlyn just isn't really doing anything, so let's send her on in. Little dangerous. If opponent like picked up a combat trick off the Conchologist, we could have a little bit of a problem this turn, but we're so all in at this point. I don't like this whatsoever. Sure. I guess there was no reason to not attack with the youngling. That was a bit of a boo-boo there. He would have just blocked with whatever. We could have maybe Ravenous Flocked next turn. Oh, Stormforger in, though.
Scientific misconduct. Ha!
Are we more interested in the Sunforger than the Draven on this board? That's kind of interesting. You know, I guess the way to look at it is we really need to get... Are we just dead here? Something. There's a lot happening in terms of spells the opponent's playing.
Now we wait.
Let's do this. Let's lead off with the Flock and see how dangerous this looks. I think we can recover if we get the Divine Judgment Sunforger, but I don't want the Sunforger being at a big risk this turn. Portal Palooza. Okay, it should be safe now.
Weapons golden as the dawn.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 We didn't take the daybreak. Oh shit. Well, I don't know about this anymore. I don't know about this. Oh, that was a disaster. Everybody at home's just going bust. You've ruined it. You've ruined it, dude. It'll be okay. Hopefully we can get out of this mess. Alright, group shot in. That's fine. So let's see. Let's attack with the Cosmic Youngling and the Draven. I think we'll still get a chance to play the Divine Judgment this turn. He looks like he's intent on casting a bunch of spells on old Draven here. Alright, it's tempting to go ahead and put a Spinning Axe onto him, but I feel like opponents probably open attacking on this turn, but it gives us a chance to maybe get the sentry down and prevent a bunch of damage here.
Home is just around the portal.
Oh, what a disaster, though, with the Sunforger. If we got to gain 6 on this turn, and then on next turn, get a block to say whatever is over to the left, even if we just have to say block hired gun, and stop 2 damage and gain another 6, this would be so done for. I can't believe I can't believe I forgot about the Daybreak.
You can fix anything with anything.
Actually, I can believe it. This is a... this deck is much more on the challenging end of the spectrum to play, but... just a pure slop fest. Okay, here's our chance, Sunforger. We gotta get you down. Okay, opponent goes for the 4 Demacia.
Let's investigate.
Oh, they pull it back.
Engulf them. Show them our metal.
Alright, let's see. Let's see.
Hey, buddy, what you doing? Fawning, take you.
So we're blocking all of the opponent's biggest units, and then this will drop us to 1. We're probably dead, but we got a chance. We got a shot. You know what we're not doing? We're not playing Solari Sunforger this turn. I've learned my lesson. I've learned it. We just got to get into this next turn, and then maybe it'll get a chance to pop. Oh man. Hide out of the way. Draw us something cool. Probably just dead, but one can dream, one can hope. I'm curious if we shouldn't have also loaded up Draven with an axe so that he would be much closer to flipping here.
I am a student of Tempest.
All right, cards come in. Whatever. We'll play the Whispered Words. Didn't find any of the invulnerable style cards. I'd love to have this Solari Sunforger be unkillable. Ooh, and survival skills. Okay, that's our chance. That's our shot.
By hook or by crook, I'll find you, dear cat.
Okay, okay, and we're up to 2, so we survive through like pokey sticks now.
Dying gifts from the sky.
All right, squad, squeeze them cheeks. Squeeze them tight. Squeeze them hard. See if we can't do this. Opponent aloofs. That's gonna discard our survival skills.
You dropped something.
That's one of the points that's that you'll find yourself in with this deck, is to where you need to get the survival skills lined up, and you have to spinning axe out onto units where you don't quite expect. Dang. All right, come on, Sunforger, don't die here. We can at least gain a ton of health this turn, right? We can brutal skirmish the Sunforger back onto Norra, having gain a bunch of health, and I do want to spinning axe Draven this turn. We've gone too far without Draven getting any of these bonuses. All right, so he's at least getting one for the round. Gonna play brutal skirmish back onto Norra. Gain us a total of 10. That feels pretty decent, right? I guess we could. We could have had the Sunforgers survive here against the Voltician. We could have Ravenous flocked it down, but I think this is okay now. Now that we've gained all that health back, we have these invulnerable bros all running across the board. I feel much better about this now.
I seem to have misplaced my shout.
Nope. This is a delightful place for the flock to go. Right onto Norra's face. Whew, okay. I think the corner has been turned. Oh shit. Ah, damn it. That pot of pain really zinged me here. Okay. Okay, though. I think we're still fine. We've survived against immeasurable odds, right? The timelines has dropped, the Norra has been flipped, everything is still going okay. our three invulnerable bros ready to battle. And this is not particularly awesome for the opponent in the sense that the Norra is putting zero cost units into hand, and so they need to play a unit first. This J Medard is going to come down and convert into a zero cost unit. So that's not going to be exactly what opponent was hoping for here. I hope you wanted a pesky Spectre. There it is. What are you? Caustic Cask coming in. But all right, I'll go ahead and drop this other this other sentry. Keep the Norra from attacking. The opponent's attacks look pretty horrible now. I'm going to get this Draven flip. Right, Draven gets to block, and since that's his second swing, he's gonna get the over to the overwhelm side. Looking pretty strong. Oh, that was just sloppy blocking. I wasn't paying enough attention. I'm just losing it. I got so hype about Draven flipping. I don't know why people even watch this stuff anymore. You just come in, just watch Bust make an innumerable number of mistakes. Still stick around for some reason. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're still here, but we should have got this Tenor of Terror off the board as well. All right. Well, I guess this is a fine Divine Judgment. I was hoping that we would we would save it for a better unit, but we don't really have any better units left in our deck. I mean, we have one copy of Samira, one copy of Solari Sunforger. All of the other units are kind of duds, and so getting this big bonus to our whole team isn't a terrible thing. And now I think we have a real question: do we want to say Ravenous Flock this City Breaker? Just to limit the opponent's blockers for next turn. I think this is okay. Right? We're never going to Ravenous Flock down Norra. Bird coming in. Opponent's got 4 Demacia and 1 card left in hand. Aye. Divine Judgment again. Say... My spider's feeling left out. He's not feeling invulnerable enough, and so good thing we had another Divine Judgment turn up. Alright, we lethal? Feel like we're pretty close. That takes us to 14. Let's slap another spinning axe onto Draven. Let him punch that overwhelm damage in. Says we got exacties. What do you think? GG? Oof. Oof. Alright. Way to way to overcome adversity, Bust. You just come out, you just play the Sunforger, no daybreak, oops. Make some bad blocks. Still able to unlock the victory. Oof, GG. Alright, next battle. Into bronze now. Rising right through the ranks, out of wood, out of iron, into bronze. Feeling good. Feeling good. Woohoo. Good stuff. If you're interested in best of 3, there was a lot of stuff that just happened over the weekend. The Mastering Runeterra best of 3 just happened, and then the ABG Always Be Gaming put out a tournament as well. I believe they're going to be starting up a tournament series or more frequently running tournaments, and so getting to the point to where there's at least in a pretty heavy tournament scene for every weekend of the month, and so it's pretty exciting. I know, like in Brazil and South America, there's a lot of tournaments just happening all the time, anyways. But it's not really on my radar, at least in the NA. I guess I should say America's NA scene. I'm losing it. The Americas, the US of A tournament scene is where it feels like it's really finally picking up to having something to do all the time if you want. Exciting stuff there. But into this game, opponents playing LeBlanc Darius Tryndamere. I assume this is some kind of overwhelm style deck. I'm going to let our Cosmic Youngling just kind of come out and survive it for a little bit. We're not in any real damage and danger from this favorite artisan. And now we can try and build up some of our stronger units. And so I'm not really keen on just dropping the Sunforger next turn. There shouldn't be too much in the opponent's wheelhouse that really threatens to kill the Sunforger. Now that we picked up a second one, do we feel any different? It's just like, it's just a unit at this point. It's not actually doing anything. Let's play the Rune Squire. Maybe we'll pick up a quick attack. Did, and so we should perhaps be able to get some good challenges on these upcoming turns. Very strong pass though. Opponent just gave up on a ton of mana. We can Sentry Ravenous Flock this turn, and then as we roll into our next turn and have a bunch of mana built up, a little bit stronger there.
Shining gifts from the sky.
Interesting. So how do we want to take this board down? Like, I'm leaning towards the Quick Attack and the Pale Cascade onto the Rune Squire. He's got to worry a little bit, though, in the sense that, well, opponent says I'm worried about what you're doing. But the thing I didn't want to happen was have that Rune Squire get popped by a Ravenous, or get popped by a Brittle Steel or a Flash Freeze or something. So opponent says it's too much, though. I ain't handling those infinite life steals, and so that's the way that All Out should just read, right? You play it and your units just don't die for the rest of the game. I feel like that's fair. All right, next battle though, up against Karma Sett. We've got our start with Out of the Way. It's tempting to hold on to survival skills, but if our unit gets hit with Tag Out, then it doesn't feel that great, right? If they just send it right back to our hand, and so it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't up against Karma Sett. I guess Tag Out's really the only one that they typically play, since we are out in Eternal. I guess there's the possibility that opponent plays stuff like Homecoming, but they don't really have any bounceable units with Homecoming, and so I don't feel like that's a super possibility. Now, non-zero chance this out of the way gets hit with deny. Would be unfortunate if it does, but we have a second copy in hand we can try and drop next turn. And so it's not the end of the world if this one doesn't make it through, but we would ideally have our namesake card not get denied. All right, that one's in. Good stuff. And a survival skills. No easy way to drop it, but we're improving. we're starting to get our friends on board. And then the quick attack fragment for the Squire, if that's what turns up as well. Okay. Interesting no attack. So let's see what happens. I mean, this is a pretty cheap and easy load up onto the Squire. It should be pretty free here. We'll see if opponent starts casting spells on it. And I'm not completely upset to drop the Divine Judgment in this space. Opponent seems a little upset about it. Just a little, you know. Alright, and a little awkward with our hand in the sense that we have started to pick up our protection cards, but like these units aren't that important, and so I'll go ahead and drop the Whispered Words so we just don't overbank the mana, and you know, if we lose out on our Rune Squire, I don't feel horrible about it.
I'm the boss. That's all there is to it.
Alright, Sett comes in. Not excited about that nonsense, but I mean our board has gotten pretty well built up. I think we can just drop the survival skills here and see what happens, making it so 3 of our units can't fall below the health threshold. Opponent drops Aftershock. That's kind of a bummer. So we can't directly interact with the Sett at the moment. And he obliterates, right? The showstopper? Yeah. So we definitely have to worry about that a few turns from now. I'm leaning towards just playing this other out of the way and trying to look for one of our better champions, but we gotta start spending this mana at some point. Like we have to advance our board. All right, well, let's just get the younglings going, I guess. More out of the ways, yeah. All right, combat squad coming in. We got 10 mana, so it's not terrible in terms of being able to Divine Judgment and Might. It's like opponent's got some concussive palms or something lined up. That's not horrible. Alright, here come the big damages. Youngling Strength Squad coming through. What you got to say? Like the tear of an aurora, they trace the heavens, their radiant gaze bringing calm, soothing wounds. They bring soothing wounds and mending what is broken. They're radiant. Who wants them to bring wounds on us? I don't know. Maybe my English just isn't that good, but I don't want the Stellacorn wounding me. Maybe that's just my thing. All right, Mixologist comes in. Sett getting fairly close to flipping here. A little scary, but Sunforger's strong. Like to get to drop the survival skills at this point. It's like we have enough dudes to start being pretty combat relevant. How many coins does he have? 4? If he flips Sett, this is just going to be done, but alright, the units are protected. No death for our bros today. just it sucks so much that the Divine Judgment just doesn't count for the Sett ability.
Forge ahead.
You could use a drink.
Alright, can we just lethal this round? Like, I know that we're... I was looking at, like, the Divine Judgment. That's such a bad attack because we're short on the damage, but it looks like if we want to, say, play Might and Brutal Skirmish, we're only going to get up to 12. I think we're still stuck doing this, but... This game's done. Let's just go ahead and move on from this one. We're not going to kill through this set. Save ourselves a little bit of time. See if we can't get some more relevant games in. Alright, on to the next one. What a dumb card. Out here trying to do cool stuff with Immortal units and have to deal with dumb things like Sett. Ugh. Alright, though. On to the next one. It's tough in those games where you don't draw your champions. But let's see, like, I'm willing to get rid of pretty much everything here. We're up against Taliyah Ziggs. Maybe we should hang on to the Rune Squire. There's not a lot of great units for us to take down with him, though. Alright, that's how we get to Draven.
Sun's beneath me and winds behind me.
Perfect, perfect. Get this get this indestructible Draven on the board. Shit's gonna turn south fast for the opponent. Alright, let's see. He needs the Zerath Blast, whatever that thing is called. Right, if he can 4 damage our Draven, he's still in the game, most certainly, but if we're able to make it until next turn, we're gonna be feeling pretty good. Just Draven. I'm not going to Pale Cascade in this combat. Like, this is a little dangerous, going ahead and giving opponent the Sarcophagus, right? That does activate a lot of the abilities in their deck, but I think if we can kind of clear out their board just a little bit, we'll be okay. This Draven's about to pop off. Oh shit, I forgot. I forgot that Divine Judgment only lasts for a round. Oh shit. That was almost disaster mode if we're gonna start throwing our Draven away. I'm glad we drew our namesake card though. Now we're ready to pop. That's a big old rock hopper. I give him that. I give him that. I mean, I had such high hopes for this Draven, but I think we have to give up on him now. But it's like, if we give up on him, like, what are we ever really doing? If we go into next turn, we can't, say, play like Rune Squire, Divine Judgment. That doesn't feel like a winning path. We're just like 1 mana short of making that really work. Oh, that attack last turn was so bad now. Like, it's okay to take the 7 from the Rockhopper, but the Devout hit is kind of brutal. Let's see what we hit. I'm not going to play Divine Judgment until next turn. Right? So we can add in the Rune Squire. If he hits a good fragment, we can potentially just come in and take down the Rockhopper. Okay.
God axes need victims.
Alright, let's go ahead and load up a Spinning Axe. I'm tempted to discard the Out of the Way so that we can, like, if we pick up the survival skills, just have it to be the free discard, but it looks like we're going to be building up Draven here, so I don't feel like that's going to be super worthwhile. Now that opponent's out of mana, like, do we really want to add a sentry to the board? I don't think so. Let's just pass. We could play out of the way, but I like having the full 3 bank on the turn. All right. Here comes the ship, bro. Here it comes. Block. Get that Draven flip. All right, we're ready for action now.
What's my name?
Draven time, bro. Nowhere near 20. That's a bit of a disappointment, but ready for battle.
What I'm doing.
Well, that Ziggs is annoying. I give him that. But oh, Samira turns up. We can do a lot with Samira. She doesn't have invulnerable yet, but
No need to make a name for myself.
I think it's going to be quite important to let her come in with these quick attacks so we can take Ziggs off of the board. Right, as Ziggs gets to blow up every equipment and deal 2 to the face, we don't have a spectacular answer to that. Ooh, the survival skills. So we got to be real careful with the survival skills, right? We can pop off with this, but we need to get Samira up to higher attack than Draven. And so let's just go ahead and work towards that. I'm going to go ahead, drop a Might onto her, give her a +2 attack. Need to do the flare for the challenger. Now Samira's ready to party. If he can swing in with this. And then we're also getting very close to the rally, right? Samira's currently what? She's at 4, so she's 2 cards from flipping, but we have like a million spinning axes in our hand.
Time to bust out some combustion.
Ziggs is nasty. How many cards do we have? 10 of 10. Alright, I'll send 1 to the Nexus. I don't want to overdraw next turn. If you're not familiar with what we did, counting the cards in your hand feels kind of dumb, right? I don't like just sitting here counting the cards in our hand. If you click on your deck, you can see the number of cards in your hand. We're at 9 of 10 for the moment. But here we go. We get to discard our we get to discard our survival skills, boost up the Samira. She's not dying just yet. Might be able to finish the game on this next turn.
Now we're
Got 3 spells in the spinning axes. We need something a little cheaper to help pull that off, but we're close. We're going to take 3 off of the Ziggs right from the get-go. Right, the Scrappy Bum will blow up, deal 1 to us. Ziggs will deal 2, take us to 5. But we're getting close. Getting close.
explosives, big and small.
Forgot about that guy existing. We should be okay at this spot, though, right? So we're going to play a Ziggs. He's got us at exacties here for the moment, right? So if we play the Arachnoid Sentry, it's going to blow up the Roiling Sands, and then when Ziggs attacks, he's going to do the 2 damage thing to us. Oh, that's a little short. I was counting on the Scrappy Bomb as well. Okay. So this Ziggs hit will drop us to 3. Ziggs' attack will drop us to 1. He's got 2 cards in hand, so we might still just be dead. We gotta like pokey stick, but we've got ourselves in a potential winning spot. Just gonna let this dumb die. Alright, Samira picks up Pirouette. Now can deal 1 to the face, stun the Ziggs. And then if he doesn't have a pokey stick, we can rally for the turn and get the kill. Got to put some spinning axes on Draven, right? It's his thing. It's his shtick. It's his deal.
Blink and you'll miss me.
Gotta let him spin it up a little bit. Come in for the 20-piece nugget. Maybe. Possibly. Nice. GG. Woo. Good stuff. Good stuff right there.
Let's make the next mission riskier, huh?
Poor Samira hasn't been getting that much gameplay since the big collection of nerfs keep being sent her way, and so it's nice to still get to come in and pop off some of those shenanigans. All right, up against Teemo Sejuani. We'll hang on to the Draven's biggest fan to help us pick up our Draven. Maybe we'll find a way to deal with an early Teemo. It's not critical, but would be nice to do. Now, it's kind of interesting. If opponent plays, I guess we got to see if opponent plays Teemo, right? If opponent plays Teemo on turn 1, we can play Samira on turn 2 and try and hook him down. The downside to this angle is if he has a mystic shot for Samira, then it all falls apart. Or sometimes these people play stuff like Elixir of Iron. But I don't think the investment here is too high. And then as we look towards Draven, right? We're not going to have Draven on turn 3, but having him on turn 4 is okay. If that's what puts us in a spot to start getting the spinning axes going and everything. But opponent plays Reggie. We know Samira is safe. Definitely looking to take the Teemo off of the board. Not a bad spot. And so, as you see this deck, this isn't legitimately a Teemo deck. They aren't going to try and puff cap us out of the game. It's just a card that works fantastically with Sejuani, right? So as we play decks like Gangplank Sejuani and you try to make a big effort out of dealing damage to the opponent on every turn of the game, being in spots like this to where you know, he just got that free puff cap hit in, so he's getting to level up his Sejuani without really doing anything. So it's a bit of a bummer, but I guess a bummer for us, not for opponent. But I think it's okay. But here, I'm fine to protect the Samira without using the card draw on the Pale Cascade. It feels like just trading a 2-mana card for a 2-mana card, and that's okay, even though we aren't getting the full value out of it. Now the Draven turns up. Not ready for the Sunforger. We'll wait until we need a little bit more help with the lifesteal. Maybe we'll draw an out of the way. Something, you know.
Look, a thing.
Elf, that's not ours.
The loop comes in. See ya, Sunforger.
Let's boogie.
Only Draven attacks. We could have attacked with Samira since we had the spinning axe in hand, but I wasn't. It doesn't feel super necessary. Well, maybe we would have just gotten away with it. When you see the spinning axe and know that the 3 attack unit can take down your blocker. Ew. Ew, ew. Oh, Pale Cascade turns up? Sure. Still no out of the ways. I think we're in a decent spot in terms of making attacks and stuff, but not having that permanence is definitely a weak point here.
Really?
Okay, he already dealt damage to us this turn, so not a big deal to go ahead and take the 3 hit. I'm more interested in keeping Sejuani from flipping as opposed to removing this unit off of the board. If he hadn't dealt damage to us yet, we would have been much more interested in trying to remove this unit off of the board.
Time for the moneymakers.
So let's see where this gets us. We'll discard Draven's biggest fan. Don't really need him. Well, we should have discarded Flare, right? Since we were just going to get a strike in. A little sloppy, but we'll make our way through. Shock Blast. many cards we got? 9. So we could play Whispered Words. That'll drop us to 8 and draw 2, take us up to 10. See if we can't find a survival skills. Beautiful. I really want that Draven's biggest fan back now. Well, the survival skills is going to just boost the Draven anyways. We don't... Well, we have 2 spinning axes. We could protect Samira if we want. But I think we want the Draven here.
Now we're cooking.
Alright, now we're cooking. Rip Samira. Oh shit, we did. I was still intending on having we haven't played the Have 'em all yet, or whatever it's called, and that's been kind of brutal. I was expecting some of this stuff to just last forever. It does not. It does not.
Nothing like the great outdoors.
Or the greater indoors.
Alright, I'll just go ahead. Gonna put the damage onto Teemo, stun the aloof travelers. We shouldn't be taking any damage this turn. Once he attacks with Teemo, we can drop the Ravenous Flock. Yes, we have Arachnoid Sentry in hand, but I think we need to be a little bit slower with it. I like getting the stop on both units. Where's our card at, yo? We need it.
Warm hearts and hot soups.
Cosmic Youngling, you are not out of the way.
Axes coming right up. Let's talk about your dad.
Uh-oh. He's taking a lot longer on this one. 2 damage blowback. Alright. Rip Draven.
Beautiful face.
Once I stamp papers, now faces.
Alright, well, I mean, we got time and stuff, but just not having the out of the way has made this a bit of nonsense. This is one of these spots to where, like, I'm just like, where's our Darken at? That's what I want more than anything. I love playing these Cosmic Younglings, but having a deck full of the Darken equipment in it, and without it, it feels kind of sad. But we're not going to recover from that Sejuani. We're too far behind. We could stall that game out for quite a bit, but without our card boosting all of our units, her level up ability is going to be too strong. And so we're going to call this our last game. We're pushing the 50-minute mark. This should get us right up to about an hour. And we'll see what we can do. Doing battle up against Darkness. Ooh, that's not Darkness. That's Veigar Norra. Okay. I think I just want to, against this one, I want to take the full mulligan for the out of the way. Like, we have a bit of time. This is a kinda slow deck. And so if we can get our big spell on board, we should have the time to make our units invulnerable. Like, I'm not entirely certain the removal suite that this deck plays, in terms of they're going to be trying to hit us with both like mini morphs and vengeance kind of cards. Pretty sure they just play vengeance, but there's some opportunity for problems. And here I'm not going to get real invested in this. We've drawn the pirouette. We'll gladly just pirouette down the bird and stun a Norra or something, and so no real reason to get heavily invested in this early game. You can keep the mana locked up as we move into Draven next turn.
I seem to have misplaced my, self.
Oof. Almost tried to deal the 1 damage to the junk construct. That wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, okay.
We'll take the clear now as we're looking to push in with Draven. I'd like this board to be empty. Okay, okay. Whispered words.
I have
We can play that next turn. We gotta start digging for our spell. I mean, I think Draven should be reasonably okay here. Like this deck, it deals a bunch of 1 damages, right? It has a bunch of cards like Pokey Stick, Group Shot, Pastry Toss, whatever. It has a lot of ways to deal 1 damage. The Darkness is kind of a growing way to deal damage, but he hasn't played any of the cards yet. The Veigar decks typically don't have the early Darkness like boosters. They're just counting on Veigar to lift the strength up, and so I think our Draven should be fairly safe over the course of the next few turns. And so if we play him, take the bank, roll into this turn, and get to drop Whispered Words, just kind of maximize our opportunities to find that out of the way.
To serve the greater good.
We got here +2 attack. Sure.
Stupid. No more mud for me. No way.
No more mud for him. Rune Squire's got mud in his boots. Poor guy. And a Samira. Like, I kind of want to just get the big unit on board, right? If we're not really doing anything in terms of, like, if this game drags on, if we go to turn 10, turn 11, opponent's just going to win every time, right? That's what they're good at. That's what Veigar can do. And so I want to get the attacker on board if we can. So I'm looking with this, if we say put +2 attack onto dude, and if we look to Spinning Axe, we can't give the, oh shit, hang on. Alright, I had to stop playing cards right there. I was looking to get the survival skills onto the Rune Squire, but however I went about that was just not gonna work, and so just good to just stop and quit doing dumb shit so that we don't. This is one of the kind of things I'll talk about on occasion, is when you see yourself, you've made a misplay, you've made a mistake, right? Putting that +2 attack onto the unit there might have been kind of questionable. The next worst thing you can do is try to kind of clean it up so that, you know, you don't want your friends to make fun of you because you came out and messed up at your game of Runeterra, right? And so you start discarding a bunch of Spinning Axes and doing a bunch of weird shit so that we can make sure we get the bonus attack or the survival skills onto our challenger. We just don't want that. Just say, okay, I fucked up. Let's reassess the board and get things back into the safe space. This is bad. This is rough without the out of the way here. Just protecting our units for 1 turn are not what we're really wanting to do. That's fine. We're gonna get you safely on board, Samira. Feeling good about it.
Or forgiveness.
Try and hang on to the sentry, so if we pick up another Ravenous Flock, we can try and kill Veigar. Oh, he is playing the Catalyzer. Interesting.
Soon, Lord Veigar. It will be ready soon.
All right, well, let's keep the dum-dum back. I guess it's not like super important at this point since he's gonna have 4 damage darknesses off of the Veigar, but we can take him down next turn with Samira. Just gotta find an out of the way. That's not it. Jesus, Team Elusive. The Elusives are definitely coming through. Alright, this one's done. We'll go ahead and just stop it here. We don't have enough combos in hand to really pull anything off here. And so, not a bad set of games. We can pull this up, talk about it just a little bit more, and I think we we did a couple of things, right? We got to pull off a lot of the cool combos that you can do with this deck, like getting to play against, say, the Taliyah Ziggs deck and seeing all of the work come through with the Samira rally and the good champions and everything. Playing that game against the Norra Timelines deck to where we got to have the like almost completely full board of invulnerable units. Like those are the big things that this deck is really kind of capable of pulling off. And it's really fun and nice when it comes together. But the downside to playing decks like this are it doesn't come together if you don't draw your out of the ways. And so if you're wanting to kind of compare this to, say, the Timelines decks that are currently running rampant in Eternal, those decks can still kind of function, right? So let's say we're playing like Trundle Timelines and we don't draw the concurrent timelines. You can still curve out and be reasonably okay, right? You can play the 3-cost Forge-based healer improvised unit on turn 3. You can play the Combat Cook on turn 4. You can play Trundle on turn 5. You still have reasonable units going across the course of the game. And then let's say on turn 8, when we're ready to play our Ice Pillar, if we've drawn the concurrent timelines by then we still get a really powerful concurrent timelines because the Ice Pillar will convert into an 8-cost unit and we can do something in that way. And so we've built up nice value units and then had the big play at the end. Or even if you're looking in terms of the P&Z Vandal City ones where you're playing, say, Conchologist, you're playing things like Banana Blaster, you have a few opportunities for value-based plays, even though you didn't draw your timelines. And then if your timelines gets drawn, you just get to really pop off super hard. But this deck doesn't have that same kind of thing going for it, right? If we get Samira and Draven onto the board, that's fairly strong, but that's not really strong enough on their own to really be scary and aggressive. And so if we were playing, say, something like Discard Draven or discard aggro of some sort, and we go like Legion Rearguard, Samira, Draven into a 1-drop into a 1-drop and attack, and then discard survival skills, like that's one thing. That's like one very powerful aggressive draw, one very tempo heavy draw if your opponent's trying to take down the Draven, and then you're good to go from there. But that style of draw just doesn't really come together with this deck, right? If we play Draven's Biggest Fan into Samira, into Draven, into, I don't know, Rune Squire, and then on that turn we discard survival skills and have the Draven survive, like that does give us a bit of tempo, but everything stops right there, right? You don't have that continuing aggression that you would get on the other decks that are really built to do that kind of thing. And that's where this really kind of like falls apart to me. And so if you're looking to play out of the way, I think the way that you probably need to look about this are, you know, ignoring the Samira combos. Like that was really fun and cool when we got Samira on the board and flipped her on one turn and rallied on the next turn and got the big kill. But I think it probably realistically needs to be Riven, and then playing Riven and the Riven Reforged combo cards. And so then you have kind of your second angle of attack to where everything's kind of building together. And so if you're going big onto Riven, and then you play survival skills onto Riven to protect her into combat, and then you roll into the next turn and get the OTK, like that sounds all reasonable and doable and well. But this deck just isn't quite capable of doing that. And so it just needs like a little bit of something else. I'm not happy with this kind of champion selection here. And to me, I'm looking at things of either being like, you have this like triangle of cards between Arachnoid Sentry, Pirouette, and Ravenous Flock. So maybe that's like one direction to kind of take this thing and maybe look towards, say, Swain or something like that, or look towards Riven. But I ultimately wasn't happy with Samira's ability to carry these games. Without the usage of out of the way being there. But nonetheless, nothing wrong with just going infinite with your dudes, right? Going Immortal with the Draven, Immortal with the Samira, going Immortal with the Arachnoid Sentry. All well and good, loads of fun, and so good stuff there. So I had fun with this one. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.